Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakadash. This is your Akiyama Driller Zil, back with another quick lesson. Also want to give double honors and a salute to the men I learned this truth from. Shalom, Barakatham. Yeah, I titled this video, Throw It Terry, Wait For It, because of, as we brothers and a few sisters that are in the know can see that what we've been waiting for is actually happening, man. This place is actually departing and breaking up before our eyes. And I just want to play this quick video regarding United States occupation that would pretty much lead it to some precepts. So let's continue with this video.
The United States military has about 750 bases overseas, across 80 countries and colonies. That means that about 4 out of every 10 countries have US bases on them, across every continent except Antarctica. But having that many military bases abroad is normal, right?
This is more foreign military bases than any country or people or empire in world history.
In fact, only about a dozen other countries even have foreign military bases, with just 70 combined between them. That means the US has the other 90%. So why is that? And what would the world look like if the US shut its overseas military bases down? Military bases as we know them today really began popping up during World War II, following the 1940 Destroyers for Bases deal between the US and the UK. Under this deal, the US gave Great Britain 50 World War I naval vessels, known as destroyers, in exchange for 99-year leases and pretty much sovereign power over 8 British bases in the Western Hemisphere. These included Jamaica, the Bahamas, and Trinidad. By 1945, the US was building about 112 foreign bases a month. In the span of only 5 years, the US grew the first empire of bases in the world. This empire of bases strategy hasn't changed since World War II.
It was this moment that we see the United States become a new and unprecedented kind of empire, and was indeed a sign of the transferring of imperial power from the British Empire to the US Empire.
Meet David Vine. He's a professor of anthropology at American University. He literally wrote the book about military bases abroad. Over the years, he's been researching and compiling a detailed database of all the US bases around the world. His database is so extensive that a few years ago, one of the Pentagon's research groups used his list for reference for their research instead of their own.
The fact that researchers working for the Army needed to rely on my list of foreign bases that I've been putting together since 2015 is a really bad sign. It's a bad sign about transparency, but many researchers believe the Pentagon itself, the military itself, they don't know how many bases they have around the world because there's so many damn bases.
That brings us to the question at the heart of all this.
So what's the purpose of this military presence around the globe? It's a great question. In short, I think empire is part of the answer.
And that's why you can't talk about how many bases the United States has without talking about what those bases actually represent. US imperialism. While it's true that US military bases expanded dramatically after World War II, the US actually started exerting its power and influence outside its borders in the early 1800s. In 1823, the United States adopted a cornerstone of its foreign policy, the Monroe Doctrine. This policy opposed European colonization and established the Western Hemisphere as the US's own sphere of influence. This helped lay the groundwork for the US to develop a taste for militarily intervening and invading, like intervening in the Cuban War of Independence in 1898 and occupying Spanish colonies, or engaging in a war with the Filipino revolutionaries just a year after that. Now, obviously, the US didn't stop there. After World War II, the American government both expanded military bases and established itself as a dominant power with the self-proclaimed right to militarily intervene across the globe. It sent troops to occupy southern Korea in 1945, with the Vietnam War kicking off in 1955. The US kept deploying its military anywhere it felt threatened, often by left-leaning governments. Latin America is an example of this. The region experienced American interventionism and involvement in regime change multiple times. By the end of the Cold War, there were 1,600 US military bases in 40 countries and colonies. Today, the number of military bases is half that, but the number of countries and colonies that host these bases have doubled. Japan and Germany still have 119 US bases. South Korea has 76. It's important to note, included in these 750 bases outside the US are US territories where citizens don't have the same rights as mainland US citizens, like Guam, Puerto Rico, and American Samoa.
We can think of these bases as kinds of colonies. These are sort of mini micro colonies from which the US government and to a certain extent US corporations can exert power in the world.
You're looking at Ramstein Air Base in Germany. Large bases like Ramstein are often referred to as Little Americas. Ramstein has American schools, apartment complexes, American fast food restaurants like Popeyes and Taco Bell, and many other American products. Over 400 overseas US bases are large bases with more than 200 military personnel. The rest are small bases, or lily pads, that usually hold drones, surveillance aircraft, or pre-positioned weaponry and supplies. These are largely found in Africa, Eastern Europe, and Latin America. Professor Vine argues US foreign bases are simply launch pads for war, like this drone site in Niger, this airstrip in the Galapagos Islands, and this base in Djibouti, which is used to launch airstrikes in Somalia. This strategy of exerting power comes at a cost. Since 2001, the US has spent close to $6 trillion on wars. To put this spending in perspective, it could have housed the entire homeless population in the US and ended world hunger. And it's not just financially costly. Over 800,000 people have died due to post-9/11 wars in the Middle East.
It needs to be dismantled. We need to dismantle the system of war, and we need to dismantle the power of the military-industrial complex. And unless we do, we are in deep, deep trouble, because I most of all fear the United States will end up in even more catastrophic wars than the catastrophic wars that we have been waging since 2001.
This brings up the looming possibility of a new war with China over Taiwan. US troops have been secretly training military forces in Taiwan, even though the US formally recognizes Taiwan as part of China.
Future wars should be simply unthinkable for our nation. There is widespread belief that anything the US military does in the world must be good and must be protecting the United States and protecting people around the world. And unfortunately, the opposite has all too frequently been the case.
And that is part of a bigger problem. US foreign bases have displaced millions of people. For example, Diego Garcia. Diego Garcia is a US base in the middle of the Indian Ocean. The US government conspired with the UK to illegally remove the entire local population in order to build the base. On top of that, many people in other host countries have consistently protested the presence of the US military. In Shannon, Ireland, residents have been protesting to halt the US military's use of Shannon Airport to transport arms. In 2009, the president of Ecuador refused to renew the license for a US base, stating the US military had too much control in his country.
Mire, si quiere, yo lo renuevo con una condición, que me permitan poner una base militar ecuatoriana aquí en Nueva York. No hay ningún problema en tener bases extranjeras, entonces vamos a llegar a un acuerdo.
Now, contrary to what the Pentagon portrays, closing overseas bases is relatively easy because Congress doesn't need to be involved in the closures. Previous presidents have done it. Both Bushes and Bill Clinton closed hundreds of bases in Europe and Asia in the 90s and 2000s. This means the Biden administration could easily close hundreds of unnecessary military bases abroad, if it wanted to, that is. But it's not just a matter of closing a few bases, it's about questioning the role the United States plays in global politics and how it uses its military force to get what it wants.
I think the world would be more peaceful, and I think the US people would be more secure if the United States had fewer military bases abroad. And after 20 years of disastrous warfare, this is a state of affairs that really should bring us all deep pause and fundamental transformation in our approach to engaging with the rest of the world.
So I'm gonna cut it off right there. So this guy actually hit on some key points regarding United States being a kingdom, and also that he was referring to the wars that the United States was involved in, that it could be heading to a more uh, catastrophic war. That's regarding, he said, catastrophic war in regards to their relationship with, China and the conflict with Taiwan. So, that's leading into that third woe, that third woe. So let's hit a few scriptures. I'm gonna start with the book of Daniel 7. This is the book of Daniel's, and I'm gonna start at Daniel 7 and 22. Until the Ancient of Days came and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. So just like that video I just showed, this guy was referring the United States occupation regarding, the expansion of their military territories um, on a more wider scale than any other kingdom on earth or in history. So this is that fourth beast, man. And let's go into um, let's go into this word right here, beast.
Strong's H2423. Cheva. Cheva.
Salakia. Uh, well, actually, what we know is that's not what I was looking for, but what we know that beast is talking about the system, man. This global system that Esau Edom has set up. Let's read that again. Daniel 7 and 23, Salakia. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom. So that fourth beast is that fourth kingdom, man. Upon Salakia. The fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. So just like that guy was saying, he was saying that the military occupation of the United States um, has been greater than any other kingdom on earth and throughout history. So this kingdom that we're living in, which is the kingdom of Esau, is diverse than any other kingdom that was prior to them, like the Romans, the Greeks, the Persians, the the Babylonians. So we know that this is the Roman Empire revised. That beast that was wounded and then it was healed. Uh, spoken in the book of Revelation. Let's go to the book of Daniel's 7 and 27. I'm going to jump down. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. That's the righteous kingdom that's coming after the destruction of this kingdom. That's the kingdom of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. That the saints would take the kingdom, man. But I didn't mean to actually jump on that. That was excellent scripture, but that's what we're tarrying and wait for it. We're waiting for the revealing of our Lord and Savior and that great deliverance, man, and the destruction of this place, man. And you can obviously tell that this place is going on a downward spiral because look at the economy, man. You know what I'm saying? There's um, many um, key points that pretty much explains that this place, Babylon the Great, aka America, is broken, man. Start with the economy. You know what I'm saying? Look at the way things are going regarding the commodities. You know, gas, food, the necessities are going up, energy prices are going up, and they're saying that this is just the beginning. So things is expect things to get a whole lot worse. So let's go to Salakia, the book of Daniel's 2. It's the book of Daniel's 2 and 33. This regarding the image that Nebuchadnezzar saw, that Daniel pretty much explained to him what this image was. It said his legs of iron, his feet part iron and part clay. So that's this system that we're living in, this fourth kingdom, man. It's part strong, partly weak. Let's continue on. Thou sawest until that a stone was cut out without hand. Let's read that again. This is the book of Daniel 2 and 34. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hand, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them in pieces. That's the returning of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. Returning and destroying this place, man. You know, that's what we're waiting for. Though we're tarry, wait for it. And we're waiting, and we're seeing this place right here in its pre-stages of collapsing with the talks of wars and rumors of wars, the economy in the way that it is. You know, we see that this place is falling apart, man. It's breaking down through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So let's get another precept. It's the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2. I'm going to start at 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So that's what we are waiting for, man. We're waiting for Yahweh Shem Shai's return and and the saints, which is the elect, giving that glory to take the kingdom, man. Lord willing, us brothers that are faithful in this truth have hope that we are part of that number, man, of the elect, you know. So that's what we are waiting for, man. Let's continue on. This is the book of Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright, Salakia, in him, but the just shall live by his faith. So we have faith in this, man. We have faith that Yahweh Shem Yahushua will return, deliver his elect, and destroy this place, man. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. That's what an example of his military occupation, man. A military occupation that was never seen by any other kingdom prior to the kingdom of Esau, the modern day Roman Empire today that we're living in comparison to any other kingdom prior to him in history, man, or any other kingdom current. Let's read that again. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 5. Yea, also because he, so like it, transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So that's what he is doing. That's what he's doing, man. It says out of the 10, it said 4 out of 10 countries are occupied by the United States, man. He's gathering, and they still don't even know how many. It's probably the numbers are probably higher than that because just like the guy was saying, there were the U.S. military was using his book in reference to count how many military bases that they actually have occupying the world, man. So they don't even, the U.S. military don't even know. They're relying on someone else's source to find out how many military bases they actually have. So that one, so like that 4 out of 10 number could be higher than that. It could be even 5 out of 5, 5 out of 10, maybe even greater than that, man. Let's continue on to verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunt proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? And that's what we're doing, man. We're taking up a proverb against him, man. We're setting our face against Mount Sid, man. We're prophesying the downfall of Babylon the Great, aka America, because this guy, Esau Edom, man, his desire is like hell, man, and that's what he is, man. He bringing all types of hell on the earth, man. And just like that guy, I can't recall what his name, but he was the author of a book that he written, but regarding United States military occupation around the world, you know, and that he said that catastrophic event that between the United States and China, you know, and also it is going to be led by Russia. He's talking about that third war, man. That's that catastrophic event, that nuclear destruction, man. That we know that is evident is gonna come to pass, man. That's that catastrophic event that he's referring to because of this man's desire. His desire is like hell, man. He's trying to heap upon all nations, man. Let's read that again. The book of Habakkuk 2 and 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting parable against him, and say, Woe to him, woe means destruction, to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long, and to him laid Salakia, and to him that laid himself with thick clay. So that's that those feet, man. Part clay, miry clay, and part iron, man. Shall they not rise up suddenly that should bite thee and awake? Salakia. Habakkuk 2 and 7. Shall they not rise up suddenly that that shall bite thee and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. So that's what's going on, man. That's going to be that war, man. They're going to rise up because he's going around other nations and committing atrocities. These nations are going to be fed up, man. That's where all these nations going to start. When that third woe comes, in the midst of Yahweh Shem Yahweh delivering his elect, all these nations is just going to uh, um, shoot their missiles, man, at Babylon the Great, aka America, man, because they're gonna be fed up. They're gonna be fed up with this man, man. Let's read that again. The book of Habakkuk 2 and 8. Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land and the city, and of all that dwell therein. Woe to him that covet in evil, covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Woe to him that coveted in evil covetousness to his house, man. That's Esau Edom, man. Woe to him, man. That's what this man's been doing. Let's go into that word.
Strong's H 1214. Batsah. Batsah.
Basai. And it says to cut off, break off gain by unrighteousness, violence. So that's what that man been doing throughout his occupation, man, throughout the world, man. He's been gaining by unrighteousness and violence, man. By unrighteous violence, man. To covet, be covetous, Salakia, be greedy, to gain. Let's go to A on the third definition. It says to gain wrongfully or by violence, man. This is the violent man, man. Esau Edom. Let's go to the strong definition. And it says primitive root, to break off, i.e., usually plunder, figuratively to finish, or let's go to yeah, it just says at the bottom, greedy, perform, be wounded. So that's what he's gonna, how about Shimei Awashai? This time it's gonna wound him with an uncurable wound, man. That means he's gonna fall and he's never gonna rise again on this go around. The first time that Roman Empire, that beast was wounded, but it healed in the book of Revelation. But this time, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is going to wound this beast with an incurable wound, man, which means that this beast will fall, never to rise again. So I'm going to end the lesson off there.
Jamaica, the Bahamas, and Trinidad. By 1945, the US was building about 112 foreign bases a month. In the span of only 5 years, the US grew the first empire of bases in the world. This empire of bases strategy hasn't changed since World War II.
It was this moment that we see the United States become a new and unprecedented kind of empire, and was indeed a sign of the transferring of imperial power.
So I'm gonna end it off there. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakadash. Also want to give, lucky, this is your Aki and Madril Azil. Lord willing, I'll be back with another lesson. Also want to give double honors and a salute to the men I learned this truth from. Till next time, Shalom, Barakatham, and a Barber Ball. Shalom.